news. Ace doesn't know it, but he's being spotted every step of the way here. Actually, Surgeons runs away after showing on that Watcher. Makes a break for it. They're going to run after him. Slight change. Oh, he went to the neutrals.
That is unlucky.
That is super unlucky. That could have been an arrow pickoff.
That was a guaranteed kill.
And that would have maybe led into Tormentor, but now Liquid kind of have a fighting chance here to take that part of the map back. While Pure with his Aghanim Scepter flying out to him, the Rat is really about to begin.
That picks up here.
Combine that with the Hulk being done on 33, his recovery completed.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. These guys always wiggle out of these rough situations. You can't get overexcited. Now all of a sudden this game is extremely even. Next team fight win's going to break it open.
And if the story of Game 1 and Game 2 was the heft, the meat, the beef that was being brought in, surely that's got to be Iron Wings' favorite here.
Right now, yeah.
Own Druid and Centaur.
As long as you get the LDE. Well, yeah, he doesn't even need to join the fight. Bear plus Centaur Heart is king of the map right now until Earth Spirit gets a little tankier. Kez is too squishy at the moment.
Yeah.
Can't hang with the big boys.
That may not be that way forever. And Kez may be one of the answers to all that tank, right? It's a hero that really just doesn't run out of damage.
You're just worried about this bear accelerating right now.
It's because we've got our 1 to 3 teams, Mikey, and unfortunately for us Cena fans, you know, and Southeast Asia, North America fans, that means GamerLegion up against OG. They've reached this point. Now, mind you, between both of these teams, I will say GamerLegion has looked much more impressive. I think their games have looked a lot closer. I think yesterday their series against Vici Gaming, like you keep saying, you know, they should have been able to win that. Of course, we'll take a little bit of a recap here as we'll see how our brackets have formed up here. Again, OG has had the rougher time. They've only gotten their 1 win from beating Huligani, right? So they went 0-3. They got a win over Huligani. They get to go through here into the 1 to 3 portion. For the side of GamerLegion, it's been a little bit more topsy-turvy. They take a pretty clean win, I believe, up against Extreme Gaming, if I recall right, and that's what led to their scoreline being higher. They had to play against Falcons earlier today. It looked close. It felt like game 1 should have been able to go their way with this Invoker faces Void combination, not quite panning out. Of course, other big news, we had Team Vision take a 2-0 over Team Spirit, so they are our first team to get into the main stage for the international, qualifying right through, skipping out all these elimination portions, and they can kind of relax for a couple of days now. So our bracket's starting to close out here, Mikey. Group stage is starting to tie out, and this is where it gets exciting. Again, in a modified Swiss format, as the days go on, every single matchup gets closer and closer, and well, theoretically, this should be a pretty close one on the opposite end, but again, I actually do think this is extremely in favor of GamerLegion. I don't know what to say about OG, man, but something's been going on with that team. It's not been something pleasant, and for GamerLegion, they've looked pretty solid. And again, there's also this factor where it's Yopaj up against RCY once more, and the last time these two players faced off against each other in TA qualifiers last year, it was RCY that shut down that dream for Yopaj, right? So this momentum has been building up from GamerLegion. For OG, I mean, you can never count them out, right? This is a team that has had a lot of moments like this before. They've had moments where they can kind of rally back. It doesn't feel like we've seen that in this tournament yet. Maybe that win up against Huligani does boost their morale a little bit, inspires them, brings out the best in them, but something's got to change coming into this one up against GamerLegion, Mikey.
I mean, I'm quite resentful, quite frankly, that GamerLegion's even here. I know you've already said this. I mean, the Falcons earlier on today, they could have found a 2-0 victory. There was another series where I couldn't believe they ended up losing. That was Vici game.
Yes.
The day before Vici, that should have been another 2-0 victory for GamerLegion. Unfortunately, obviously, they aren't able to close out these games that just seem as though they should be almost guarantees, even though the plus most of the time is sitting at 95% win probability for GamerLegion before these inevitably horrible things happen and they end up somehow losing the game anyway. I really don't... OG...
Wait natin guys.
actually start with a Mirana on the side of OG, so they snag that one away. This could be our scammer Tim's hero. It's fairly open. We've seen a lot more pause 5 Mirana, but depending on what their ideas are, you could kind of get that done. So I like that they snag this away from Speed, take it away from GamerLegion. We've seen Speed be pretty effective with it. Something else that's pretty high contest left in the pool here is the Winter Wyvern. I think that's something that you kind of have to think about now on both OG and GamerLegion if you want to allow it true. It does feel like perhaps it fits in the draft of GamerLegion a little bit better. So again, and that could just be a free ban for the side of OG. Take care of Speed's other great hero in the Winter Wyvern. Because it does feel like Winter Wyvern Mirana support duo might not be able to start fights as good as you'd want it to, depending on your cores. Certainly not supports that just get things done by themselves. I'm curious to see. Now you can ban out those Yopaj specialties. Look at that. Yopaj Ember banned out. I don't think Storm's been a hero this TI all too often. Puck at least is in the pool if you'd want to go that direction. And they banned out the Tiny as well. So they banned a big one in the emergency glass break, Ember. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what you do for OG. Like, you've got to...
They're gonna
Yopaj has to outplay RCY so hard in the laning phase, man.
they're gonna upset me and choose Yopaj Viper or something. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna upset me and choose Yopaj Viper. I feel it too. Don't do it, Adam. Don't listen to him. Don't do it.
I'm so curious as well. It feels like we haven't seen, the normal pick you go into when you're, wow, that's an atrocious win rate, but OG hasn't really won much, so I suppose that, I don't know why I'm surprised when, again, they haven't really won until today, so that stat does make sense. I was like, why is it so bad? It's like, right. And anyway, I was wondering why our normal mid counters to like melee matchups haven't been really showing off. Like Monkey King mid has not been a hero, so I don't know. I feel like maybe you could make it work against Earth Spirit specifically. Snapfire mid is.
Eto na.
Okay, I'll grant you that.
Ang inaantay na sabay ng
Nerfed
Pilipino.
enough that it seems very low in priority on the totem pole here for a lot of teams. But I think the Monkey King ID could still work.
Bakbakan
We've
na
seen
to.
some Shaker, some Pango into Earth Spirit. And that could be the direction they go for. Although I will say, in as much as we love watching Yopaj, there's always been something with him and Pango that it feels like it's not up to snuff compared to
Whoa, Primal, bago to
This is another one. Melee lane matchup.
Hero
Should
ni
work
Nico
pretty
yan
well
eh.
against Earth Spirit. You have ways of just weaving in and out. You're super tanky as well, so you don't mind when Earth Spirit's right on top of you. And it's a nice way of just getting an easy follow-through arrow when you pulverize someone down. It's some good tempo. It does provide a lot of what you
All
want
in
here.
na ate OG
to
dito,
kind of
ah.
match the tempo we've seen from GamerLegion, because this is a very fast tempo team on the side of GamerLegion. They've played some really aggressive games.
That they have. Well, GamerLegion back into their own picks now. I think about this secondary pickup. So you would have loved to see that Speed Mirana coming back out, but was taken by OG. Thankfully for OG's sake, because he has been a monster when it comes to that hero. So they'll go for the Bignum Dark Willow. Have been seeing a bit of Dark Willow here from Bignum, not too
Kilo,
surprising.
so center meron ba?
Because it is very
Ban
disruptive
center.
throughout the fights, and as you can see, the win rate pretty good, 66.7%. What do you give Speed though? With Speed, again, he's been playing a lot of Mirana. Doesn't have that option right now. Winter Wyvern is available. We've been seeing a lot of Wyvern. Could be an option.
Wyvern.
There you go. Yeah, just take it.
Stable enough. Normally I would say you maybe lack some sort of front line, but you've got the Earth Spirit. You don't really need to concern yourself too much with how to start these fights. Your follow-through from both Dark Willow and Winter Wyvern is pretty good to kind of help out this Earth Spirit. So it kind of works out quite nicely. Having a debuff and Keep Pierce is always great as well, especially into something like the Primal Beast. So even with BKBs, you'll have some way of stopping the Pulverize if need be. And again, that can kind of just simplify how you play.
Kaya hero
The
ni
lanes are
Yopaj
also
dito.
pretty stable when you have these two supports, right? Like, it's very steady harassment. There's not a lot of matchups where these two supports don't achieve much. They've got good range, good spell kill spam.
Binan
so
yung Ember
it's
eh.
just very
Oh,
strong
Night
foundation
Stalker, nice.
for the side of GamerLegion. OG do bring
Teka.
up the Night Stalker. And, okay,
Ano to?
this is where I can bring in some moderate insider information. When OG run the Night Stalker, they've been using it in Yopaj mid.
Yopaj
So
mid,
there's some
okay.
flex here.
Okay.
That is some tech they've
I'm a
tested.
straight shooter.
The Yopaj
Okay,
mid,
mid runner.
Night Stalker, and then you just run the Raven off lane Primal Beast. I don't know if you really need to do that. Depends on the matchups. Night Stalker mid, it's a little bit slow to start. Into Earth Spirit, of course, can pan out. Looks like we are getting, for OG's sake, I actually hope this is a carry Wind Ranger, because a support duo of Mirana Wind Ranger, if your two cores are behind, no one's doing anything on the map. So you'd rather have something on your 4 or
Night
5
Stalker.
that
Okay.
can at least jump in for you, and have a
Yopaj.
Wind Ranger soak up farm here for Natsumi.
Okay.
Should note as well, I mean, with that Night Stalker pick for Yopaj, well, when were they playing it, John? Because it wasn't during
Oh.
TI.
It's no. They pick it out in scrims. This is like some deep
Okay.
stuff they've tested. And
Okay.
Alpha, Mr. Lane, Manager Lane's been warning me, hey John, I wonder how you'll react when you pick this in an official. I'm like, I don't know what to even think of this. And I really don't. But
I mean, I don't-
theoretically, it's okay.
I don't mind
it's
it.
tanky as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like like Night Stalker is one of those weird heroes that you know if you pop off, it is really hard to come back from. You know, it's weird, but I think weird picks are probably what OG needs right now, considering the circumstances. Especially again considering GamerLegion has looked like the better team throughout the
Oh,
group stage.
sanggalap. Puro pang-counter yung hero ng ano ah.
You know, Dawnbreaker,
GamerLegion
makes
ah.
daytime with that Solar Guardian.
Solar
Solar
Guardian.
in general very annoying for the Night Stalker to play into. I
Totoo.
actually like this pickup quite a lot for GamerLegion.
Yeah, I think the lanes work out pretty nicely as well.
Puro
If you are
pa-counter.
expecting to play into the Wind Ranger lane, Dawnbreaker can just kind of stand back, really tanky. You don't care about the right-click poke that might come in. Power shot's still going to be annoying, but it's annoying for every single melee offlaner anyhow. I do like the way this kind of works out. We're also seeing some pretty strong potential for, say, some Bramble entrapments, just because you're going to be trying to dodge out Starbreaker. Celestial Hammer slow is going to make it a little bit quirky to walk around a Bramble maze. So there's some good laning aggression from GamerLegion already. We'll see what kind of pause ones they're going to allow through here on the side of OG as they do ban out the SF. GamerLegion are still banning safe laners though. They don't seem to believe that they're getting the
Pwedeng
Wind
i-support
Ranger
nila yung
+1
Night Stalker. Pwede pa
life
kumuha ng
support.
mid na
Yeah,
maganda.
simplifying the lane here for Fade. But trying to think, if you do flex, again, if you flex out Wind Ranger to support, it's still just
Pwede rin
concerning.
support Wind Ranger
Mind you,
pala to ha.
To be fair as well, Night Stalker and Primal Beast shouldn't be losing lanes that hard. So at the bare minimum, one of these two heroes should be able to connect with your supports. So maybe you can make it work. The laning presence certainly doesn't feel as threatening as it is on GamerLegion, but again, you've got
Mapangontra
pretty good
dyan.
magic damage with Power Shot and Storm with a Quiver here. So you could kind of make it work. It's just a little bit more awkward to kind of line that up here for OG.
The final ban outs now to come. GamerLegion actually assuming it's not a position 1 Wind Ranger, which, you know, fair enough. OG. SF ban out is there, looking for another position 1.
Spectre?
Oh, what do you go for if it's not going to be the Natsumi Wind Ranger? Like the PL or something? Like, is that where we're going with this?
You could. PL into Earth Spirit just feels pretty rough with just all the magnetizers flying out. They might be looking for it with a Sven ban out though. No, like it's either a PL, another thing that hates playing
Spectre.
Sven is like Drow, but I do feel like picking Drow into Earth Spirit's also just kind of ugly. So maybe you're thinking about an illusion hero here for Natsumi. I don't know, PL stands out the most. There's
Pwede pa ba
Spectre,
sila
I guess.
mag-void?
That Spectre has felt really good.
Pwede.
It's just that your backline jump here, OG isn't amazing. Go with Lina.
Lina.
So,
Kalaban.
they're keeping it really open. I do feel like I'd rather see the Lina. Okay, it's a Lina for GamerLegion. Win condition for Ghost, pretty stable. I do actually like seeing it. I think it lanes against whatever you'd want to put.
Void
down for your Night
Chrono,
Stalker,
please.
Primal Beast.
Magaling yung OG sa mga crowd control hero, guys.
You can opt for the right-click build here with, RCY taking that tempo on mid anyhow. And you just go for
Mga AOE
Mjolnir. You could go Hurricane Pipe.
na
or
stopper.
even Hydra's Breath if you're feeling cheeky, but you likely need Hurricane Pipe just to get away from Night Stalker. And again, the lanes are pretty sick. Like, this is a Lina Winter Wyvern lane. There's a lot of reach here. And you're not gonna have an easy way to gap close. At least you're gonna take a big risk on the Problem Beast if you're gonna
Pero
try to
walang solid
onslaught
right click yung
into
ano
the range hero standing
Depende
from a
na lang
mile
kung right
back.
click
So,
nila Lina.
again, the lane setups from GamerLegion just look a lot easier to execute on. OG, they have to show which way they're actually going with literally the last 3 picks they have, because they're still trying to go along with this flex with a Wind Ranger 1 perhaps, even Wind Ranger mid being a possibility, although that's the
PL nga.
I'll go to PL, so you were right with Sven Ban, and that means we are getting the Wind Ranger Marana support duo. What is Yopaj playing? It is just a Yopaj Primal Beast mid.
Yopaj
They're not
mid.
going too
Oh,
crazy.
Primal Beast. Okay.
I'm gonna say GamerLegion's draft is a lot better, right? Like, you have Winter Wyvern, you don't care if you catch the real PL, you just use Curse on someone nearby to PL and someone's gonna die. You have a Bird Spirit into PL, which is also quite nice. You have a Lina who can go Mjolnir, which is fine, not amazing into Phantom Lancer, but workable enough. I don't know how much value the Natsumi Phantom Lancer can have. Mind you, if you have a good lane somehow, you get like this really ridiculous Manta Orchid Bloodtorn timing. Phantom Lancer can feel highly oppressive. It's just a matter of, again, the lane setups here for OG. They aren't the easiest to execute on. It's pretty passive in the laning phase. And you look at GamerLegion, and you've got a Dark Willow that just constantly trades with you, a Winter Wyvern that just has Arctic Burn to toss out every
Taas
single
ng win
time,
rate ng Dark
a
Willow
Lina and a
ngayon eh.
Dawnbreaker that just has so much damage in lane. I don't think your side lanes are going to have too much fun here on OG.
It should be an interesting matchup. I'm not 100% sure either. I mean, I just remember that Natsumi, you know, he used to play a really nice PL, and, you know, it is a PL meta right now, so not overly shocked that they go down this route. I agree, the support duo does look pretty weak, John. I'm with you on that. I don't like it at all. You know, Tim's Wind Ranger, Skem Marana, we saw the stats, they weren't exactly very impressive. I mean, the only thing I really feel like I like is this mid Primal Beast of Yopaj, but I just don't think it does enough here.
Kasi may
In
ano
this game.
Wyvern eh.
But we'll see. We shall see. This is an elimination series, of course, best of 3. This will be game 1 between GamerLegion and OG.
All in.
We're backs against the wall for
OG
both
guys.
sides. Both of us still
Taas ang
agree
kamay.
that GamerLegion probably the favorites in this
OG.
matchup against OG. But I guess only time's gonna tell, John. You never really
Yeah.
know. Again,
Time will tell.
both teams need this series win to continue through to the TI playoffs, and well, here we go. We'll have a quick pause as is stand.
Yeah, Southeast Asian pause coming through. We do have, what is it, 7 Southeast Asian players here, so pretty standard, you know. It is what it is. Get a little bit of whatever issues they have out of the way. Ghost maybe having a mouse issue. You know, it's always the mice, it's always the headphones, it's always whatever else. You do get the go ahead,
Yeah.
so should be able to get into that game relatively soon. And again, I think the pressure is on OG. You know, if you think about just the history of the orgs,
Yeah,
all the
OG.
eyeballs that are on the side of OG as well, looking to,
Ging ging ging.
to drag this team up.
There you go, John. Well done, John.
Yeah. but
Up,
if it works for them,
Raven.
hopefully, I don't
Uy,
see
nice.
how-
Uh-oh. Raven
Nice dodge.
narrowly avoiding a line strike ray. Had that landed, he was just dead. Gets away, he's alright. Could have been a disastrous start already for OG, but narrowly making it out.
Okay.
And that
Smoke.
was a pretty big commitment out from GamerLegion. So now you have LSA level 1 for Ghost, which is not ideal. That's going to hold back on some of his laning presence to trade. You wasted the Blood Grenade as well, and OG can actually make use of this wraparound. There is a ward watching, but they're not going to break the smoke while they're in vision, so this could still pan out here for OG.
They could. Speed. We'll see them eventually. And he's actually just going to walk his way out for now. They won't try. That'll be all she wrote for OG. Seems like GamerLegion, they'll head up towards the top side and get the banner runes there instead. Is probably just a 2-for-2 trade anyway, and
Porto.
it is. And maybe a bit of a chase here from Skem to see if he can find speed on this this Winter Wyvern, but not quite. They are going to stick around for that range creep as per usual. Maybe Skem sticks around here with Tim's, and and tries for a quick first blood attempt, but it doesn't really seem like it. Though Tim's is going to run into Ghost. Going to be a bit of chip damage, but that's about it. Skem's leaving the build.
Should just try to start stabilizing.
Momentum OG guys, nanalo sila last game. Tingnan natin.
Left alone. They don't manage to time Starbreaker. Rather interesting to see the Starbreaker level 1 on that top lane as well. As normally, again, you play with Celestial Hammer, you shove out the wave. Maybe they're expecting again, some aggression. They don't quite have the Bramble to try to set up for Starbreaker anyhow. You are seeing Skem.
Visit yung Willow na yan. Ayoko din katapat yan.
Starstorm level 1. That is a ton of damage out onto Big Number. He does have the Shadow Realm.
Kaso may Shadow Realm yan ha.
Man fighting here.
Nice.
Gonna Fairy Fire up, and you've got a Shadow Realm available to juke out some of that damage. Both will survive. Both very low in the HP pool. I actually don't mind the level 1 Starbreaker here on Fade either, because you just force the doppelganger early on from Natsumi. It's certainly not going to be the easiest kind of game to land these during the laning stage, that's for sure. Bottom lane, of course, Ghost having the wave pulled back quite nicely, having a pretty free time on the laner. Tim's going to be around to try and mess with him a little bit. But so far, so good for the side of GamerLegion here. Ghost, again, not really contested whatsoever. But meanwhile, neither is Raven, quite frankly. And I suppose for Raven, that's probably the bigger deal. You know, as the Night Stalker, if you can get off to a decent lane, it can be quite detrimental to the other team. And this is a rather aggressive lane from GamerLegion with the Lina Winter Wyvern, so you do have to play a little bit on the cautious side if you're Raven.
That you do. Speed's actually held back from even just going for Arc Current Harassment and trying to go for that onto Tim's anyhow with the level 1 Wind Run. Does make it pretty difficult because you're not getting as much presence out.
Hindi na last hit, sayang.
Not really able to zone anyone out. Again, just providing a little bit more room for Raven to actually just play his more passive lane. If you do manage to connect some spells, so there is some good poke, but you know, with triple gauntlets, you don't lose that much HP here on a Raven to feel unthreatened. Tim's even getting the room for his own little pull, and Speed just has no answer for the Wind Run. So overall, you're finding what little you can here on the side of OG. I think the one rough spot for OG has got to be that mid. Right, we've talked about RC.
Panalo lahat ng lane ng kalaban
Certainly doesn't mind Yopaj's melee on melee matchup with Primal Beast either. Like you see the commitment for trample, you kick him away. The onslaught comes in, you can always just reposition, try to roll out. And Yopaj is tanky, so the kill threat isn't really there, but even then, whenever Yopaj walks too close, RCY is more than willing to just twack him around a little bit. 18-5 up against our Primal Beast at 11-3. Pretty smooth sailing once more for our Filipino bowler here.
It certainly is. RCY is having a great old time, and it has been a bit of pressure. I've been keeping an eye on Yopaj, and just he's not been having the most fun. Like, he missed out on a flag bearer creep earlier as well, trying to get a water rune. Again, just so much pressure with these little plays from RCY. As you can see, RCY just happy to just constantly zone him out. Not easy at all. Certainly the strength of the Primal Beast, it doesn't feel like it's in play at all in this laning phase for him. You kind of need Yopaj to pop off as well to really make sure these side lanes go well. But it seems to be going the other way for now, as we are going to see Tim's making a slight rotation for some water runes, but it is just to ensure Yopaj gets his. RCY is still going to find his own one as well, so no issues here.
No sort of contestions. A lot more emphasis on the side lanes here for both teams. Fair they are getting quite a fair bit. Like that top lane where you've got this PL that again had to go for the value point and Doppel. You're not getting a lot in terms of space here. Running up to the creep wave with the threat constantly there on Fade, off this long range poke from Bignum is making it a little bit uncomfy for Natsumi to just try to pre-farm. A 10 CS deficit in comparison to what you're getting for Fade. 28-9 compared to 18-1. The Dawnbreaker's gotten full control of the lane. Ghost, and he's running away with the lane now. It was a decent enough start for Raven, but you're not getting any value on this Night Stalker at this moment. Still daytime, level 3's up, you've got when that
ginagawa ni Raven.
There's really no
kinukuha niya yung ano. Power snipe. Nakuha niya yung creeps.
He's gonna get a courier.
Yopaj, RCY.
RCY does finally get jumped with that trample, but it's not quite enough to get a kill. Does at least force out a rotation from Speed, but Speed, you won't mind being here. Gives a cold embrace and we'll leave the building. As you can see, Raven just completely avoiding the lane now, just going for the creep skip between the tier 2 and tier 3 tower of the Radiant side. Did find a courier for his trouble, but now he's going to run into Speed anyway. Speed has been making life very challenging for the Night Stalker, as you kind of expect. Meanwhile, mid, we do see a Magnetize out on Yopaj. TP's incoming, but the Magnetize might actually just do it. And it seems like it will. The last tick will get it done.
Hit.
RCY,
Huh?
he's
Di
still
niya
alive.
nino. Ah!
What?
Oh, they can't kill him.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's so
Pati power shot
demoralizing.
sumablay.
He survives it all. This is why you don't give this guy Earth Spirit.
No.
No way.
The Filipino boulder showing up again to the Filipino idol. It's the difference with the younger blood, right? Like you're seeing, I mean, Yopaj, he's been struggling lane with
Pinoy
some
ba yan
nice
si
small
RCY?
plays RCY's been doing throughout the laning phase too. Like Yopaj commits with the onslaught, gets denied from the range creep anyhow. RCY is finding all of these small openings to really widen that gap on mid. Yopaj does have a lot of stacks to fall back to, at the least. Again, Tims has had a lot of room to actually get some stacks going. So with the trample and the pulverize, Yopaj should get a decent enough injections.
Oh, nice. Nice catch. Kaso level.
Pulverize will be there.
Nice one.
Speed,
Good.
he's going to have no way out of this. So that's a nice little pickup here against Speed. Speed, assuming there's a ward in the dire triangle, but
Naku.
it's actually on the other side. As RCY,
Patay si Raven.
he'll find Raven anyway. It's not really the worst trade in the world. RCY is still making it worth it, and he'll find a Shrine of Wisdom for his trouble.
They'll find both. You're not set up here for OG to try to snag the other side either. So a very big win for the side of GamerLegion early on. I mean, at this point, Raven, he's level 4.5, same levels, same EXP as Bignum on our Dark Willow. It's been such a rough time. That kill, it's not even a bonus for OG. Like finding that kill on Speed, it's a necessity. Like they need that kind of pick off. They need to just look for some punishment to come in to get this Night Stalker going. At least the jungle's opened up a little bit.
Arangkado na yung
Clear out the majority of the
Lina.
stacks. So our Primal Beast, with phase boots up, can start to do.
PL, kamusta yung PL?
They want to play around that. GamerLegion are
Saktuhan
fucking
lang,
around
pero
RCY. It's that key timing. Now, level 7, you've got a lot of damage on RCY. You've got Magnetize set to go if you'd want to try to make a play somewhere. A little bit too late to contest stacks. But they are looking to just work some pressure in. They know, they do understand how far ahead they are early on. Get rune control going for RCY as well. OG. Still again just playing around stacks. Can't really show up against RCY at this point in the game. It's just too much damage on his Earth Spirit. At least one benefit for OG, freer side lanes. It doesn't matter for Raven as he's jungling, but Natsumi's getting a little bit more room to breathe on the Phantom Lancer. Power Treads up, Wraith Band up.
Naka-environ yan ah.
Beautiful Manta style on our PL. Maybe look for the Axe
All in,
Rush as well.
Tims.
Nice.
At least avoid the initial roll. Just narrowly. You can see the fear is instilled as a top lane, a bit of a chase onto Fade. Fade is going to be alright.
Buhay.
Looks like it won't really be a dive in from Natsumi. Doesn't even bother trying.
Pre-5 yung Lina. Pusa.
RCY again, now popping an Invis rune, looking down towards the bottom lane. These kind of plays against the Night Stalker, it's just so yucky for Raven. You fall behind a little bit on this hero.
So
and it kinda
yaki.
feels
Grabe
good.
nga naman.
You know, you want to play from ahead. That is just not happening right now for Raven. Actually quite far behind on this Night Stalker. There's your earn up now on RCY, and they're just going to start pressuring the tier 1 bottom. You see Raven, like he's just got treads in a soul ring right now. He just hit level
Grabe
6.
yung Lina.
So he at least has Dark Ascension to play with finally, but it doesn't really feel like you're going to see the opportunity anytime soon.
No. You're just going to have to surrender these early objectives. Nice free tower coming out for GamerLegion. I mean, Raven, for his part, considering how far behind he is, getting to snipe a creep wave for free, getting to snag some jungle creeps, you know, keep the summons there to kind of pseudo-block these camps as well. Pretty nice small wins for OG. And at this point, you really have to look for the small wins where you can find them. Another power rune sort of contest. Unlucky for Yopaj, doesn't quite spawn in his area.
Malas
Now
naman.
gets the regen rune up, so that's basically every single power rune going away
Kuha na
from
naman
OG
nung
at
Earth
this point.
Spirit.
Side of OG, and this is the one issue with this lineup. Your support duo doesn't do much. You don't really have play. None of your core
Tims. Tims will pop the wind run and try to go for a run away, but the roll's going to be there, and eventually RCY will have the control and the damage. It's just very easy for him at the moment in this game 1. 4-0 already.
Oh my god,
They're on the
Tims.
third spirit. OG, it's just back to the drawing board for them at the moment. There's not really any plays they can make. It feels like you're kind of already putting all your eggs in the Natsumi basket with the way things are going.
Ah, yeah, Filipino si
It's just one
RCY.
of those games where
Guys.
the off lane just doesn't
Feel,
exist at the moment. And Yopaj, he has nobody to play with. And this is another thing with the support duo of OG. Like, you got Wind Ranger Mirana. Who's Yopaj playing with?
No one.
Okay, napatay nila kaso.
It is. It's still going to be a trade, though.
Oh my
It's
god.
a good trade. You know, any trade's a good trade right now for OG, but nothing comes for free.
Nakuha pa yung stock.
I mean, it's still a pretty big loss for OG because RCY also snipes a couple of stacks as well. He gets
True.
the kill. He gets a lot of creeps going for himself. Not the best magnetized, but he does use it to farm at the very least. They've got the room now to just shove up top. And just going back to your point, I think it's not a matter of who connects with Yopaj. It's more that who connects with the supports, because even Yopaj can't really play until the blink's up. So these supports can do something, but there's no port to connect to. They're mass TPing top though.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to try for Fade.
Fade. May SS ba siya? Wala. Okay.
Even a Dark Ascension to ensure they can kill this man. Though Fade
Nice.
is pretty tanky. But they'll get him eventually.
Naku po,
It takes 3
teams.
calls to get it done, but they'll get it done. Meanwhile, mid lane, RCY, he's going to go for a freebie onto Tims. Certainly a favorable trade this time for OG. It's just the
Okay
commitment
lang,
I-
okay
I
lang.
get
Di
concerned
pa ganun kalaki
about.
yung
That's
lamang.
3 calls committed for that Fade kill. And it almost felt like if Fade had a teammate, they wouldn't have got it.
It's just dicey, right? And you also have to commit the Dark Ascension. So Raven's not going to have presence for like 2 whole minutes. Room for
And
RCY.
again, Scam, he's going to leap out into the brambles though.
Mhm.
Has one more leap charge, but the Urn's there. He's just going to tick out. In fact, I say Urn, it's a Spirit Vessel up.
Spirit
Here
vessel.
for RCY. 5-0-2 now in the Earth Spirit.
Oh
No,
my
I
god.
realize This is probably a really weird time to ask, John, but considering how well this guy's been playing during TI, do you think, regardless of results, people are going to try poaching him? Because I'll tell you what, I think everyone's noticed how great RCY is this tournament.
Oh, Natsumi. Oh,
And Natsumi's in trouble. Terrorize
Pusa.
gonna land. There's no chance in hell of getting out. Back to my question though, Jonathan. I think some big teams
Well.
might be watching.
well, Mike.
Nanggugulo na yung
you've got
Earth
the
Spirit.
entire process
Pre-farm
going
lane.
wrong. See,
Pusa.
the pipeline used to be do well in Southeast Asia, get sniped into North America. RCY, he's already in North America, man. He's Filipino-American. He's settled in
That's true.
there. So how
That's
can he
true.
be poached if he's already in the team that would have poached him anyhow?
I would respect if he just declined every offer and says no. Power of
Yeah.
friendship. I'm staying with Speed. You know. We'll sort
Okay.
something out. Don't worry.
Kaso
boys.
may ano yan?
Speed.
Di na
Speed with the
ginamit.
devil. You're not making my argument look too good here, Speed. Get it together, sir.
Nice,
This is the
nakakuha
time
ng
for
rune.
Ojido. That's the blink reveal on Yopaj. This is when they can actually start to connect with the 2 supports, with a core that's actually ready to go. Maybe the BKB
How about
makes it a little bit more comfy for Yopaj. No clean cancels.
Raven?
Winter's Curse, of course. So you might still be hanging back and waiting a little bit longer, but it does make it easier to look for opportunities for the side of OG to try to equalize this game. Still, GamerLegion in a very happy position in this game.
Wala pa
8
siyang
to 4,
dagger.
4K lead at 14 and a half minutes in. A pretty sizable lead at this point.
Ayan, eto na.
It's
Wala
quite
siyang
fun to see as
mana.
well, just how relatively inactive Ghost has been. 0-0-0 on Erlina, just free farming down bot, getting some free harass, no contest. A bit of
Abot ba
smoke
sa
on
ano?
the side of OG.
Di
Yopaj
umabot.
does have that blink. They do want to start to get that ball rolling back their way on OG.
Kaso nasa Torre yan ha.
Top lane. They're gonna try for Fade. Fade.
Nasa Torre yan
He's got
tol.
his T1 tower, but he hasn't really got. Oh boy, that's not the blink they wanted.
Ah!
That's not the blink they wanted. That's unfortunate.
Ano nangyari
And
dun?
now, well, here comes the cavalry. There's a sentry ward placement. RCY is going to say, "What's Raven doing here?" And unfortunately, there's no real counterplay to that kind of initiation right now.
Nag-hesitate si
No magnetize, but
Yopaj.
RCY is going to run right into Scam.
Aray ko.
Onto Yopaj. Now Yopaj, there's just nothing to be done. He'll walk out of there, but you know, he dies to the urn.
Ano ginawa niya doon?
Speed setting up perfectly with the Winter's Curse into the Solar Guardian. Like, you just love to see that.
Yeah.
Just Winter's Curse into Solar Guardian. It's not something you think about, but it's perfect.
It is. And it's not very cooldown dependent either on the side of GamerLegion, at least.
Dapat
Not the
sila
longest
pumipik ng
moves.
mga ganong hero.
For OG, I guess some blessings for them. They didn't pop Dark Ascension and Raven, so they could actually look to make another move out, as they will have
Pero
at
late
least
game,
one
tingnan
major
natin.
spell. That's really important for them to actually find these kills. Raven as well, still working towards that blink timing, which, and having two cores that can jump in a little bit smoother. I will say for OG, that was such a forced movement, right? Because it was daytime, Yopaj was walking in the tree line, he was spotted, I believe he got a glimpse out from the tower as it stands as well, and he just completely missed the vision on Fade. Just again, they don't land a blink. 10-4, 6k lead for GamerLegion. Ghost again is
6k
just
league na yun.
going to the point where he's not going to be easy to handle. BKB coming up next here for Arlena, and RCY as well. Starting to ramp into that BKB timing of his own. So, double BKB timing set to come out. I do love what Fade is doing here as well. We haven't really talked about his itemization. He's going for Radiance on our Dawnbreaker. And just such an important item up against illusion heroes. That mischance, not something that ever feels comfy. Helps you identify the real Phantom Lancer a little bit easier with the extra damage illusions take. So there's a ton of value for Fade to get that up. It's a little bit slower, granted, considering that he has been pressured a couple of times in some rotations, but still set to come at a decent timing. He's got the gold for it now.
That he does. Skem. Twin gate usage is there. Skem,
Raven.
he's hanging around. He's going to try and go back through with the Moonlight Shadow. Meanwhile, Ghost will just kill Raven.
Turog
Joe
na
is for the
turog si
Raven
Raven,
the
ah.
game. I mean, genuinely, we haven't seen anything from him.
Hey, we saw the one Dark Ascension and the triple core lineup to kill top.
Okay.
Fade
Yes, we
off.
did.
Ivern, alam nila walang SS yan. Okay.
He's going to make it a little bit hard, but not that hard. Tims will go ahead and take the kill. Happy days for the Wind Ranger. 6k advantage is still standing here for the side of GamerLegion. Of course, another hero that I almost forgot about is the leaner of Ghost. He's been
Di
free
pa
farming
lumalabas
this
siya.
whole time.
Oh.
Top of the net worth board, no struggles whatsoever for him, and well, he's only a recipe away, in fact 200 gold away from the full BKB up on this leaner, so he's also a very happy boy right now. Once that BKB's up, he could think about getting involved with his team. In fact,
Teams?
speaking of, he might get involved right now, because Tim's going to get Curse Crown into the Light Strike array. And Ghost will go ahead, not even flinching, just does it with the right clicks. No Laguna necessary.
No. Quite curious about this build on Ghost. We were talking about, again, the double BKB timing for GamerLegion kind of ramping up here. And the tier recrafting earlier in the draft for Hydra Spread, he's actually going for the Hydra Spread. Which in a game against Night Stalker and Primal Beast feels a bit risky. Maybe he gets enough coverage from this BKB. Pulverize will always be a little bit of a threat onto Ghost. But at the least with BKB you don't need to worry about Raven. Not that you're worrying about Raven at any point soon anyhow. At least not until his own blink BKB, which is still miles away. That's the bottom network core, unfortunately. And GamerLegion, they're just kind of chilling. I mean, they're finding these kills still.
Okay, pag
They're finding, OG Swords going a little bit
tingnan
too far.
natin.
Finding punishment for some missed plays on the side of OG, but for the most part, they're just kind of
That's a
farming
lot
up
of
here.
damage. That's so much damage from speed. So the Arctic Burn, half HP from 3 hits. Fade, not going to give up either. They're going to see him. Skem can do nothing about it. He will die. Just the crippling crossbow with the Arctic Burn. It's just so much damage from speed.
Of course.
It's a highly oppressive amount, especially that HP, that health restoration reduction, quite massive. Cuts off. It's going to be really painful for Raven as well. On the eventuality that he does join in, will be a bit rougher for him to feel tanky. You've got your own time. It's an OG. At least the one BKB for Yo Punch is just a recipe away. But there's RCY is up. I
May
believe
mga
Ghost,
BKB
he's
na.
already got his, just working with the Hydra Spread. You can start
Oh,
playing
oh,
now.
teams.
Tim's
Patay ata siya.
going to be able to run away with the wind run, but the chase does continue. Big no.
Okay,
Does just
Fade.
snipe him. Fade, meanwhile, he's getting chased, but there's just... It just feels like they're not even ambitious for it. Like they don't want it.
Nice.
Solar
Na-cancel,
Guardian,
na-cancel,
they
na-cancel.
cancel off at least Fade. He might be in trouble. They do
Op,
find speed.
napana yung Lina.
Can they just get out of
Yo,
there?
Pudge.
Roll's
Takbo
not
lang.
gonna connect, but RCY is not leaving
Takbo lang.
Yopaj alone.
Nice.
Roll off the mark again. Yopaj, he's gonna be okay.
Nice.
It just seemed like it took them a long time to actually commit for that kill. Onto speed, that is. And I don't quite blame them, because it could have been an expensive kill to secure.
That it could have.
Huh?
Least again,
Roshan na sila?
OG right now, you take what you can get. Any kill, it's a
Early
small
Roshan.
victory, considering your position in this game. Still, that commitment does open up Roshan here for the side of GamerLegion. They do still have that damage flying out from RCY and from Ghost. So, not gonna take too long. You don't have Dark Ascension. You don't have a clean path into the pit. You don't have BKB on Yopaj, so we'll just have to surrender this one away. 21 minute, or around 42 second. Roshan, nice and quick for the side of GamerLegion. Safety net up for Ghost. And you've pretty much got the BKB
Ang
timer
galing
now
SPL,
for
sige.
Fade as well. Flying out, so does have actually he's skipping the BKB. All right, he's just going
BKB
back
muna.
for the harpoon fully, which is fair enough as well. He's doing a ton of damage as we've been seeing. Up with a chase down. Yopaj? Okay.
Nakuha ni Yopaj.
Bit frisky.
It's alright. Natsumi has the Ags up now on the PL at least, so you got that the bonus on the Phantom Rush, so illusions can be a little bit on the annoying side. Is it going to make the big difference? I don't know, but it certainly does something, I'm sure, for OG. So OG desperately needing anything they can get in this game one. We're going to see another smoke from GamerLegion heading down towards the bottom lane, and they're going to probably just run right into Scam. Scam does at least clear out the creep wave,
Game.
but he knows he's dead. RCY, that'll be his 7th kill of the game now. 7-0 and 5 is his scoreline. It has bought the time though for the BKB to be up on Yopaj, so maybe you look to try and force something out of this BKB timing. And you might have a chance very soon, because it seems as though GamerLegion, they're starting to set up at the top lane.
Fade.
Maybe even
Fade.
they'll try on to Fade. Fade, having a bit of difficulty trying to get out of this one, but
What
you're gonna
the
have Fade
hell?
moving in with the Winter's Curse. Shackle is not
Nahuli
gonna
yung
land onto
Winter's-
Fade. And
Nice,
Yopaj,
patay.
he's in big trouble. Natsumi basically taking him out as RCY just finished the job. They'll still
What
try
the
for Fade,
hell?
but they
Andyan na
can't do
silang
it.
lahat.
Fade, he's going to move back in with the Solar Guardian now. Just juking and jiving. Roll, not going to be on target for Natsumi, but they can see him. Laguna's going to land. Natsumi is down. Two down for the
Disaster,
price of
boys.
nothing here for GamerLegion.
This is a
They
disaster.
couldn't even finish the job on Fade.
No. And I was gonna say for Yopaj, even with the BKB, it feels like your target has to be speed. Because you see the difference that makes, right? Like, Fade gets to run away with a sliver of HP, speeds up there, has the Force Staff, forces him away, gets the Cold Embrace when Raven commits as well. So you just don't have damage to kill off Fade. And yeah, Fade spells don't quite connect, you know, the Solar Guardian lands onto nothing, but you waste so many resources to find that one kill. And the saving play is still there, coming out from our Winter Wyvern. And there's just so much damage to reach out onto this PL. It's not the point where PL's like ultra tanky with a heart or the Scotty to pump up stats. The Splinter Blast is actually doing some work here. Really easy to identify the real PL here of Natsumi. Just has to be so cautious when he does want to try to lead in and out.
Naka-regeneron pa.
It's
Aray
like
ko.
ultra slippery and scary just yet. It's a workable point for the PL, but not the end game for PL. We're still a ways off from that. We're only 25 minutes in. And it's set to get a little bit tougher here for Natsumi. Ghost, full Hydra spread, just about 900 gold away. So he's going to have that percent-based damage to deal with 2 strength heroes.
See
and
why.
the Night Stalker.
Look at it. Scam. Gets hit with the Boulder Smash. RCY, how deep do you want to go? Not deep.
Binugaw
He
lang.
thought about it. I know he did. But he won't do it. He's got a perfect game going right now on the ES. No need to throw it away. Meanwhile, Yopaj could be getting hunted down a little bit. No. There was a line drawn out towards him, but it doesn't really seem like they're aware he's there. Now they're aware. In fact, they're aware of Natsumi's position. Natsumi being chased down with the PL. Light strike raid is gonna land again. He doesn't get the dodge.
Aray ko.
Yeah, nah.
This isn't looking good, John. This isn't looking good.
I mean, in the draft,
Yeah.
you said PL.
Yeah, I know, John. I didn't like it either. RCY.
Okay.
Down at least.
Okay.
It's a big one, and they do get him.
Yeah, may
They
gem
found a
yan.
very nice target in RCY.
What? Gem out.
Nice.
He did buy a gem out. Raven gonna pop the Dark Ascension, looking to try and hunt down Bignum. While RCY is down, they know they finally have an opening to get something done. He'll pop his BKB for this as well. Just so desperate to find a kill here, Raven, and he might get it.
Raven.
But what's it gonna cost him? Well, I don't think it's worth his own life.
Gigil na si Raven. Gigil na. May Philippines si RCY eh.
Just watching Speed kind of fight Tim's one-on-one. Just couldn't quite clean up, doesn't have any damage anyhow. That was also
Sakit
quite
naman.
fun to see,
Dragons,
just
ano yun, Brad?
+4 versus +5 and no one dying. Pretty big wins for OG. You have to hand it over to them. They kill off RCY, they take away the gem just as it's picked up. So now you don't really have that defense up in Moonlight Shadows. It's going to feel a little bit safer for OG to try to play around. They can get few wards on the map. They can kind of reel back some control in their own jungle. You have to be mildly cautious for RCY when he is quite far forward without his team right next to him. As there are still some TP points here for OG, and the bot tier 2 was certainly the one that kind of stood in his way a little bit more there. OG, this is a nice little swing back. Right? Like, they're still 12k behind. Maybe they can play. They've got wards.
Makikita sila.
Yopash isn't hiding in that tree line.
No, he's not hiding. That's a lot of damage. I mean, my God. That's so much damage. It's just speed.
Aray ko.
You see that, John?
Oh, Lord.
Half his HP's gone. Just from speed.
Yeah, I don't know what the idea was there from OG. Like, they had a ward. They saw the gate usage. They saw their smoke break with speed on top. It was nighttime. There was a very slight chance it could have still gotten like a blink pulverize in, and they don't commit. They hang around. It's not like anyone else from OG was swinging by, and you just find it really on the side of GamerLegion.
Okay, Fade. Sige, para may pambawi kahit papano.
The shackle doesn't even land, and Fade, he's a tanky boy. Maybe terrorize. No, it's gonna land. Natsumi, he can't finish off the job. Raven's gonna.
Makakasalubong pa niya. Aray ko.
Natsumi, he's trying to get away, but Ghost is on the chase, and Natsumi is down. Raven's hiding in the trees. He's all right.
Disaster, my friend.
But maybe not mentally.
No.
Maybe not. It's such a. It's a game for OG. It's one of those games.
And it is. Yeah, I wanted to say as well, right? Like, if you think about this for RCY, we've talked about him playing against.
It's okay, guys.
People, you know, he's
Best of 3 naman yan.
Playing against people he used to watch. Like,
Yeah.
now it's people that he used to see go to lands when he didn't, right? Like, back in the DPC era, it was like OB Neon, it was Boom Esports with these almost the same set of players
Outdrafted
going to
sila
lands,
eh.
and RCY was in Div 2. Now here he is, TI, playing up against the people that he might have looked up to at some point, and squarely beating, like, handily beating them. You do not hand RCY.
Hinila niya para tamaan nung
I'm
araw.
surprised. If you don't have first pick on OG, you can't pick it up for Yopash. You have to ban it out from RCY. There's just no way you allow this to happen.
You know, he's made this game literally impossible. This bloke. You know, he's just made it absolutely impossible for OG. Yopash does get the blink away mid harpoon. I mean, in fairness, and I know you were saying this in one of the fights, John, you wanted to talk about the PL pick.
Yeah.
But, you know, the draft, we both kind of agreed, like, the draft didn't look very promising, to say the least. You know, it just did not look that promising. I mean, the only reason I even brought up PL was because it's in meta, and I know Natsumi plays PL and he likes it. But it's certainly not looking like a great game for him.
No, I mean, I would have if Natsumi was on win rate.
Spectre
I
nga
at
sana,
least
medyo okay
maybe
pa.
had a support that could force a play at like 10 minutes in while you're waiting for blinks and BKBs, right? Like, because what ended up happening is you waited for both blink BKB on Yopash and on Raven, and at that timing you lost too much of the map space. Smoke does spot or gets broken by Scam.
We won't have a roll in time. Skem, at least going to be able to TP out of there just fine. Fade, meanwhile, chasing down Natsumi now. And Natsumi, he is going to be okay. Natsumi just kind of forced the smoke down all the way to the south to try and secure any kind of camp, but as you can see, Fade is not allowing it. Now the next Roshan of the game also available. It will roar, but whether OG can actually think about getting something done here, I don't think so. I think it's very clear that they're not coming for a fight, but they might try for Fade. Go for the kill that you can get. Into a T1 tower, by the way. You know, you could at least get that tower while you're at it. Fade, he's going to show himself. They'll wrap around through the south. They'll make the jump in immediately. And Fade should have no chance of survival. I say that, though he's still alive. And now the TPs are in. Curse is out from speed. Yopash, he's the one to get caught. And Fade doesn't die. Oh, come on.
The Lincolns, man. Like, Yopash comes in, tries to pulverize. The Lincolns just stops it. And without the pulverize, this guy has 3.5k HP. How do you kill him?
Thank you, Kim.
If I was on the team of OG,
Kim
that'd be
Banista.
5 I promise.
Thank you, bro.
I would have broken every single one. Every single one.
I mean, something's gotta happen. This, if they're not breaking monsters on OG, I mean, the spirit seems a bit broken. It just doesn't feel like there's.
Pwede na sa GG yan, guys. Next game na. Next.
Aegis up for Ghost.
Bawi na lang
next. Begin. What's your game plan, OG? Something has to give.
Bold of you to assume there's a plan right now, John. Doesn't feel like there's much of a plan. I mean, what do you do? What are you meant to do? Like, you can't call GG, but you know you want to. Like, you should probably with the way this game's going. Fade's just completely running a train on him now. Props to Fade as well. I mean, you and I, we've been talking about how great RCY has been, but Fade's the other standout in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
On the side of
Nilid lang ang pulverize,
out of nowhere.
Wala,
He's just
wala
doing
na.
absolutely fantastic. In fact, wasn't Fade in Div 2 as well?
Yeah.
The NA back in the day? You and I
All of these players were. Mikey. They swung around. Oh, RC1.
Yopash. Well, that'll be Megas. One last team fight for OG. I wouldn't quite blame them if they just want to call it here. It's been one of those games you might just want to move on to the next.
Yeah. Move on na.
I know it's anticlimactic, but I do not believe they think they have a chance here.
Ganda ng drop nung
No.
GamerLegion.
I mean, they have Scotty and Natsumi. He has 3.1k HP, pretty tanky illusions. Not tanky enough yet, but
Here we go. Smoke up. Natsumi. Trying to run away. RC lies on his tail though. And Natsumi, he's in the middle of nowhere right now. Natsumi, silent stop. He's stunned. He's
Wala na. GG na. Call nyo na.
Curse out onto Yopash as well.
Call
locking
it.
him down as Raven's just trying to chase down Speed.
Call it,
Speed's
guys.
just hiding him out. Hold Embrace committed. He's not going to die. Yopash is just getting deleted by the
Call it na.
of RCY.
Nice.
As the burglary
Bawi na lang
has
next.
been placed and the GG has been called. And that's why we thought, you know, GamerLegion probably the favorite team. John, I didn't think it was going to be this one side. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was going to be a bit. Maybe after draft you could argue it would be, John. Right?
I would argue.
Okay, no, you.
I will be the devil's advocate to your. I will be the foil to your statement. This is kind of what we expected, unfortunately for OG, and it's not. That makes me very sad to say, because the first 3 days for OG has just been really rough, and even that Puligani match has looked pretty rough as well. No, the one series win they found, that was also not an easy time. So I had high expectations for GamerLegion coming into this one. They delivered the goods, and we talked about it. All right, to give credit to OG a little bit, yes, they got outplayed, but their draft really didn't do them any favors, right? Because we saw
Sila
it
dapat
from
yung
start to
kumukuha
finish,
ng mga
right?
control hero na yan eh.
Piranha,
Yung mga crowd
that's fine. Then
control.
you go Primal Beast and like, okay,
Sila magaling
you're
dyan
gonna
eh.
run it mid, maybe you flex
Yung
it.
pinapamigay
And then you
nila
go
eh.
Night Stalker and you're like, alright, surely you're trying to do some lane shenanigans.
Nagiging reactive sila sa picking. Dapat meron silang sariling plano.
Think is really good tech. No, in the end, the Wind Ranger goes support. You pick this PL last. You have no tempo. All your lanes kind of fall apart. There's no launching point, so there's no one these two supports can connect to because you're waiting for Blink BKB on 2 cores at lost lane, and there's just nothing to do in the game. I think OG has to think about the early game when you're playing against GamerLegion. And this is a team that just doesn't relent. They're looking for pressure. They always draft for strong lanes as much as possible when they're allowed to, and we see why. Every lane just went their way. RCY's 1v1 mid versus the Idol Ropaj completely crushed. The lane for Ghost, free farm, he was like 0-0-0 into 12 minutes, top network by like a mile, doing nothing in the game but farming. Fade had a little bit more pressure top. They did manage to get that 1 kill on him, and then they never really found it again. You need to also be able to match that tempo with
Wait tayo game 2 guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, to our best of 3 series here between OG and GamerLegion, and of course this is elimination here at the TI group stages, and it is MLP Dota and John X5 joining you. Jonathan, game 1 was a pretty disastrous turn of events.
Disaster talaga.
No other way to put it. It was very, very, very one-sided. GamerLegion
Napaka one-sided.
really darn easy. Game 2, John, is there anything in particular you could recommend to the boys from OG to change things up? Maybe also for game 3?
Well, ban Earthspirit if you don't have first pick, and they do not have first pick again. So ban Earthspirit. See why the Filipino Boulder showing up again, and it's very ironic as well that RCY is having such an amazing tournament, because when I talked to Yopaj a few months back, just trying to dig into his brains, the one thing he asked for that he wanted to play again is Earthspirit.
RCY.
And I don't know how often OG has even drafted him, Earthspirit. So, I don't know. They don't have first pick. Earthspirit has to go. OG should just take it out. They are thinking about their ban still. And they will take care of the standard Treant Lone Druid, but it has to be Earthspirit at this point. As you can see, they're common heroes in between, and there is actually no Earthspirit.
No, there is no Earthspirit here in the common heroes, which is a little bit strange. Like you said, Yopaj himself saying he wanted to play the hero, and the hero has, again, looked like the best mid-hero in the meta right now. I say that pretty confidently, in fact. And we just haven't seen them take it whatsoever. So, well, there you go. Just not been happening for OG. Let's see what they change up here in game number 2. I'm sure game 1 was it was a pretty demoralizing event, I'm sure.
Yes.
Hopefully they have some kind of idea as to what they're going to do here going into game 2.
Malungkot ang kuponan now.
I mean, they haven't banned Earthspirit yet. They might want to do it.
They
They
should.
probably should do it right now. They do.
Okay.
Ay,
Good
binanda
enough,
nila.
but they left Centaur.
Aray ko, Centaur Willow na naman yan.
Centaur mid. This has been popping up in the last 2 days. RCY looked amazing on it. It doesn't feel like it has any bad matchups either. I think the
Centaur
last
Willow na naman
most recent
yan.
match I was watching in one of the streams, I forget which, but I remember seeing the Centaur come out and the counter pick was Slardar, and that just did not do enough to the Centaur. And so that's out of the picture. I don't think OG can consider Slardar mid, which normally wins melee matchups. Again, maybe the Lina works a little bit better here. Storm doesn't do enough damage. Ember could kind of dance around, and you won't kill Centaur. No one really does, but you can kind of play the game as an Ember or Storm. So either one for Yopaj if you want to go that direction. They'll go the Undying first, so they do have some save mechanisms here. We were talking about it, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, just how good the Undying has been looking, and it has looked like a really good hero in this TI. So they do get access to something nice. It counteracts Centaur in a good way. You sap away strength. That cuts back on his EHP. That cuts back on his double edge damage. His return damage, his retaliate as well, just a little bit. Not by a huge amount, but every single thing you take away does help in the game. So I do like that from OG. It's a little bit different coming out for them, which is good to see for, again, a team that has their back all the way up against a wall, being dragged out into in an ideal circumstance 2 best of 1s, but they really have to bring out the best of OG that we know these players are capable of here.
Yeah. Bigay nyo na yung comfort hero nyo na lagi.
Speed,
Open yung
very boring day.
Ember.
Speed.
Ember Spirit open. Bigay nyo na yan.
Hopefully the what is it, John?
Is it time to tell Speed to wash his face?
No, not that time yet, John. I think he's bored for different reasons. I don't think he missed out on sleep last night.
Just not intellectually stimulating enough for good old Speed.
No, I don't think it was.
You know
not
what it
game
is?
one.
You know what I think it is? Speed was like, oh, they pick the PL, it's like you pick the Phantom Lancer against me.
Windrunner na naman, pre.
Me?
Puta.
You used to run this PL in Div 2 when I was a carry? How dare you? You know?
That's right.
The Wind Ranger.
Yep.
Yeah, the Wind Ranger. That's all I have to say. It could be safe lane for Natsumi.
Grabe yung...
The support duo of Wind Ranger and Dying just does not fill me with any more confidence than the support duo of Wind Ranger Marana the last
Willow
game.
yan.
We'll see, but it could be okay, right? Like Tim's had a decent.
Bakit di nila kuhanin yung mga ganun? Centaur,
right?
Willow.
So it has value. I don't see the necessity of picking Wind Ranger now. Like, what does Wind Ranger do that no other support does?
Kaya
Maybe
nga.
Undying.
Pwede kang...
Maybe you run Undying off lane with Wind Ranger 4, and that lane can be nice, right? Like 2 decays on, power shot up. That's a lot of damage you're doing to a hero with less strength. So maybe that's their concept here in OG. Just a really dynamic lane, perhaps, but for some reason I just don't see Raven playing.
Ayan, Willow. Sa kalaban nga. Sabi na nga ba, pusa.
I feel like you just run the Undying off lane.
Centaur Willow nga yan eh. 100% ata yung win rate niyan.
As the off lane duo.
Ewan ko, ba't di nila binaban yun?
Win the lane that way, and you can kind of snowball, right? Like you got to do it because now GamerLegion, they go back to Marana, they go back to the Bignum Dark Willow.
Gusto nila lagi yung kokontra.
For GamerLegion,
Magre-react sila sa pick na kalaban, ganun.
They're just playing their own game again.
Eto na naman niya, yeah.
I mean, they sure are. It's scary. Like that mid centaur alone, I did catch a glimpse of that game against Falcons earlier, and yeah, it did look pretty devastating to go up against. That's for sure. See what they can do about it. I mean, with this Marana and the Dark Willow on top, it could just be that much scarier. OG, what is the game plan?
Yeah, what is the game plan?
Are they
Puro
using
react
that
lang.
reserve time for this third pick? I mean, if it's a Wind Ranger support again,
Malamang.
like it.
You would prefer it core?
Well, I mean, it just didn't do anything.
No, not this answer.
Yeah.
Slaughter answer. Ayan na naman eh.
Against Centaur just doesn't stop it. It's really not any pressure on Centaur whatsoever. You might be able to play the lane, sure. I think the key thing up against Centaur anyway is that most heroes can play the lane against Centaur. The issue is down the line. Like, no one's gonna kill Centaur. The only hero I feasibly saw as a left field pick for OG to deal with Centaur is like Outworld Devourer, like an OD. That's the one thing that can maybe like outright bully it in lane. Or like a long range here, like say the Lina mid can at least force like a max retaliate build. But I don't know if the Slaughter will do enough.
Yeah, OG tayo.
Right? Like, now
Kahit na mangyayari.
Shout
out sa'yo, Arbogs boy.
Either Undying Hoodwink or Wind Ranger Hoodwink, and that's
Pero kasi ewan ko ba't ganito lagi yung pick ng OG. Di nila nire-respect ban yung mga meta hero eh. Buong game nila ganun lahat, talos lahat ng game. Nung pinipick nila yung mga comfort hero nila, naglalaban pa sila eh. Pero ito na naman, no? Naku po. Paano na kayo niyan? Kakukunat niyan. Paano nyo gagawin dyan?
So again, I mean, you already said it. GamerLegion, it feels like they're getting.
Napanood ko na to sa telenovela.
On a draft, you know, this is pretty stock standard for GamerLegion. OG, are they being a little bit reactive with their draft? It does
Yes,
kind of feel like
always reactive.
It does kind of feel like it. I'm still concerned about this.
No plan,
Wind
just
Ranger.
reactive,
I'm assuming
guys.
it's a POS 1 Wind Ranger at this stage. I assuming here, John.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You know, but that would mean the offlane Undying that you mentioned a little bit earlier. Oh, excuse me, rather the POS 5 Undying.
They thinking
would
draw,
be
I
where
think.
we put it. We'll see.
Why are they panning mids?
Do-draw na naman sila.
Surely they know this should just be RCY, right? Because if you're
Kahit
laning
open yan,
Centaur,
binan
it's
nila
a
Storm
Slaughter,
nila.
that's fine.
I I mean, I guess maybe they believe there's
Kung
a chance that
mag-OD sila,
somebody
pwede pa
fake
yan.
takes it himself.
OD mid.
Yeah, cover your base
Sarap
for
niya, no?
Nova
Wasak
for
yan.
first lane matchup, I suppose. That makes enough sense. I just don't think GamerLegion cares. You know, and now you can actually think about, again, probably just our fade hero off lane.
Dapat
Knowing
nga,
that,
ano eh, yung
there is a Lycan, but
Witch
I don't think
Doctor
we
eh.
can really see the Lycan
Kaysa
all. And again, with a Hoodwink, you can maybe hunt it down.
mga aggressive, hindi yung
Underlord's
save.
still there if you just want to be really beefy. And that's going to be
Witch
very
Doctor,
vertical,
tago sa ano yan?
Underlord Centaur, Necrophos on top.
Defense na
You don't really
Centaur.
have the burst on OG to handle any one of these heroes.
Mga
Could be
pure
problematic
damage.
for the side of OG. If they will allow like Underlord through, Lifestealer banned out, yeah, they might think about again maybe protecting the Centaur or protecting potentially the Underlord from sliding out here. And this could catch OG by surprise.
OD.
Like, with a
Labas may
Underlord
OD.
ban, with a Lifestealer ban, you're like, all right, maybe the Centaur is going off lane. Keep
Kaso
banning
parang
mids,
di nag-OD
and
si
then just
Yoko.
drag Centaur mid anyway.
Let's see what happens. Final ban from OG. I imagine they're still just going to continue with the ban outs here on the mids. Back into the reserve time here for their final ban of OG. They are going to get rid of the puck, so they still do believe perhaps a mid to come. I mean, you kind of said it, like
No, Necro
the
carry.
Slaughter vs Centaur mid matchup, if it was to be that, isn't actually that bad for the Centaur anyway. So, you know, I don't think it's you know, you've solved your answer here by having Slaughter on your side. But GamerLegion, they might choose to just make their life a little bit easier.
Kinuha pa yung Ember tuloy sa kanila. Ayaw pa nilang kuhanin. Binibigay yung hero nila, pre. Laging
This actually
ganon.
does become a mildly better lane for Slaughter now. I mean, this is still pretty decent for Ember overall, right? Like, you can just go max Flame Guard. There's no magic damage here to burn that down, so you're always gonna have it in full effect. You can just go back to the chain
Napipick nila dyan.
and Sleight of Fist build as well
Lina?
here for RCY. There's a lot of options. There's no hard stuns in OG that really threaten
Wala
the
na
Ember.
naman silang crowd
Like,
control.
Crush is a little bit telegraphed. Your best bet is actually just from the tree line with Bushwhack, which we've seen be really impactful a couple of times. So maybe that's the direction you go here on the side of OG. It could still pan out, but and for RCY this doesn't
Pwede
look
pa
like
rin
it's a
OD dyan, ha?
complicated game to sit in.
Napakaganda ng OD dyan.
For OG, time to kind of figure out what they'd want. You've seen a
Napakaganda
mix of
ng
off
OD
lane,
dyan.
safe lane bans here on the side of
Viper. Pwede.
I guess Lane was printing some
Mid
lane
Viper.
tickets there, Mikey. You know, when I chatted up Manager Lane, he said he was busy printing something.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, I know the.
Kaso, i-reaper ka lang, pre.
I don't want to do it. It's a Raven vibe coming out, but that doesn't make me.
Off
happy.
lane, yo, patch
You
mid,
know?
okay.
No.
Nope.
Parang mas gusto ko
Well,
pa
Here we
mid
go.
Viper.
Game number 2 between OG and GamerLegion. As you can probably tell by the defeated tones from me.
Oh, pusta
and
sa
John
kalaban,
and I,
puso
as
sa
we
OG,
don't
ah.
like the Viper last pick. I mean, this Viper, every time I see it, I just
Ay,
roll my
nako.
eyes. Every single time. You know?
Oh, I just can't believe this is how we see it every time we get an OG match. The
Yeah.
only OG match we ever get in the tournaments we actually cast.
Totoo.
And every
Yeah.
single time, it's
Ganito
been
sila
legendary
mag-drop.
matches, and it's twice in a row.
Yeah,
They last
every
like a
single
fight.
match. Ganyan sila mag-drop.
I
On the
don't-
bright side, GamerLegion probably pretty happy. You know?
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna have a great
Yeah.
old time.
They should.
Here we go.
They have a draft.
Let's
that
see,
actually
let's see.
looks like it's
Baka
going to play
ma-outplay
Dota 2.
pa.
Mind you,
Pero 2-0
give
I
OG
think.
some credit. If they do win lanes, you know, if Raven actually just crushes Ghost, like kills this guy off at like say level 2, level 3, and then the Viper is very impactful. You get a nice timing to Mage Slayer, you get
Yeah.
KB, you can maybe even build Orchid if you snowball hard enough. It can look good. I just don't know if OG's gonna win lanes like that because again, even outside of draft, yeah, a lot of ifs there because I have to put these caveats because we haven't seen OG play that strong in the laning phase in a long time. It's not just here in TI, right? Like it's been a lot of the tournaments as well. They've been slow to start in the lanes, and they need to win lanes with this kind of lineup. So
Ewan ko kung
that's an important bit
si...
for OG. Get the laning phase underway, win it out, apply pressure to Ghost, because you let that Necrophos win against the Viper, your Viper pick becomes meaningless. Because Viper from behind, you were talking about Night Stalker being played from behind here, Mikey, last game. Viper from behind is a much worse deal to play with. Right, like that feels absolutely awful. At least Night Stalker can run around with Dark Ascension, can provide a silence, can try to look for the backline and kill. Viper, if he's behind, he doesn't get the chance to kill. He doesn't have mobility. He's not ultra tanky as well. So there's a lot of pressure on Raven to get this done. Natsumi, I know we missed out on it because we're just getting into game, but not okay. Maybe I mean, I appreciate
line, John.
okay, yeah, I appreciate you, Natsumi, and I'm sorry that I have to say these things, but it's not. The draft doesn't fill me with confidence on the side of OG, Mikey. Just doesn't.
Thank you to Natsumi for not using my voice line. I appreciate that, sir.
We haven't gotten it this tournament.
I'm
We just
so
haven't.
happy. I'm so happy. I genuinely am. I haven't had to suffer once by hearing the cringiest voice line in existence.
You
I'm
know,
just gonna say it. It's so
I'm actually so upset that
Sakit
we didn't get
nito.
it because I had to deal with it when I was
Pero
watching
tingnan
those,
natin, puso
the
lang.
most recent tournament I was doing.
that's what you get.
I
for
had
making fun.
to get him like, all right, at least I'll get this.
Si
one.
Yopa,
And it didn't
sh-
happen.
You
So
loved
I
it
just
in
suffered
Paris,
by
though.
myself.
You
Oh.
loved it so
Laki
much.
ng potential ni
That's the
Yopaj,
best thing
kaso
ever.
yung mga hero niya eh.
Surely you loved
I
it
didn't
in
love
game.
it. I didn't love it. I loved watching your face as we rode on that boat, Mike, for 1 hour. That is great. Oh.
Fight over the bounty routes. Tim's is going to be able to pick it up. It's still a 3-for-1 trade though in the favor of GamerLegion, so they get off to a pretty nice start. Chase is on for Fade, but Fade looks like he's
Tanky yan
probably
eh.
going to be okay. I say that Skem's got brown boots available, so he can
May
really
stand
abuse
pa.
Fade quite a bit here. Power shot through as well. Even Hoofstop being committed just to ensure the chase cannot continue. So they do get off to a decent start with all this harassment onto Fade, giving away one boundary rune for it, but they
Okay.
might just call that work.
Yeah. We are seeing some of the power that we were talking about in lane, right? You still end up with the Undying Wind Ranger lane, so decay spam into power shot. It is a ton of damage, especially if you can get like two decay stacks up, minus 8 strength, plus a pretty big nuke. Level 3 is gonna be a nice spike here for the side of OG. And again, just playing to their strengths. If they do get these lanes going, I feel like the bot lane's the one that's gonna be relatively easy to do, right? Because you've got this Undying, you've got two heroes that don't really hit Tombstone too well. The Centaur certainly doesn't have a good time with that. Dark Willow can somewhat do it, but not greatly as well. So there's a lot of presence there for Skem later on. The mid matchup, this is something we've seen a couple of times. Normally pretty good for Slardar because you can just sustain in the lane, right click back, but Ember is one of his tougher melee matchups, right? There's so much damage on Ember. Flame Guard's never gonna melt because you don't have any source of magic damage.
Miss na nila yung Pilipinas, uwing-uwi na, sabi.
If you want. We'll have to see.
Anak
And the
ng
bot lane,
tinola
he
naman.
pulls out for Bignum. He does understand this lane's gonna be slow. You have some decays to play with. Oscan could find this.
Grabe, puminoy na naman eh.
Bignum. Almost down. Scam gonna eventually leave it be, but the creep wave is gonna end up underneath the T1, and in fact he gets a range creep tonight anyway here on Scam. He's gonna feel very, very good about that, even securing the range creep from himself. Took him into mid lane, RCY. And Yopaj going at
Sabi
it.
sa comment,
RCY still looking like he's
if
having a
OG
bit
is
of a
looking
bad
for
time here on the
sponsors, they
Spirit.
should ask Philippine Airlines.
Yopaj
Perhaps
will have
they
to
will
work
also give
overtime
free
to make
ticket to
sure
airports.
RCY doesn't have another repeat performance from like game one. Game one, he was just too much.
Sayang yung mga skills nila eh.
Top lane,
Does look
Pangit
close.
lang nung pick.
he's having a tough time. He
Oh,
goes
puro
for the
Raven,
easy
ah.
end up going down.
Di pa
Raven
tapos to.
able to secure a very nice kill. It will be at the cost of his own
Mhm.
life, but very well
Mhm.
worth it. And now Tim's finds
Oh!
surely another. There's no speed. Speed's gonna
Bakit
find the top.
kinancel niya?
That celestial quiver. It really is just too much.
That it is. I mean, you're happy enough. You know, you find that kill on Raven first.
Kita mo?
You get EXP. So you are applying that pressure we were looking for here onto Ghost. Is a little bit slower here for the Necrophos. It's not a free lane whatsoever. So at the least, you know, the purpose of your Viper in the draft is somewhat showing up, and that is important. Because again, the Viper from a position where you're not shutting down a core can feel pretty rough. Nice little movement out from Yopaj. Will get himself a water rune, a small denial to RCY. He already has his anyhow, so just no double water rune here for the Ember. I will say one thing about bot as well. I think Skem's been doing something pretty important, right? Because he had the opportunity to kill Bignum. Instead, he tried to leave Bignum alive. I think what he was trying to do is just slow down the pulse from Bignum.
Visit yung Bramble Miss na yun.
He's back in. He's
So,
gonna
di
have
ka
no
makagalaw na
HP, he's gonna
maayos.
try to go for the pull again. Keeping him alive wastes a few resources. He's out of tangos now. He is fully reset from just regenning up, but it does slow down that sort of steady pulling that you'd want here for Fade. So,
Pero
not
so
finding the
far,
pull, it
good
actually
naman
does
yung
set up the
laning.
lane just a little bit better for Skem, considering the circumstance here.
Tingnan natin kung mag-snowball.
It's gonna drop. They're gonna try to fade.
Okay, may ano.
Lots of boost on
May
for
Tom.
himself, but it's pretty rough right now down this bottom
Grabe
lane.
Bramble Miss, no?
Brambles, though, making it very hard for the chase to
Napakadaya
happen.
niyan,
They
pre.
might be losing Skem in all
Patay.
this. Skem is indeed gonna go down as Bignum.
Napakadaya ng Bramble na
Fantastic
yan. Bakit di
Brambles,
nila
just catching
kinukuha yan?
everyone constantly.
At sila pumipik
Really
ng
nice
mga yun.
punishment coming out there. A nice simple kill. I don't know. if
Nung
you
sila
might have
pumik niyan, nanalo
Skem,
sila.
and dying's bad either way, but as an undying, you do appreciate just having full mana again. Granted, the commitment to the tombstone doesn't lead to much, so you'll be happy enough to just get a freebie on the side of GamerLegion. Laning start, it's been a little bit more back and forth, right? Like Natsumi actually has a decent start for himself despite all of these trades.
Tapos mababramble
so
ulit.
far.
Oh, napakadaya.
Wind Ranger is getting its initial ramp up. The mid lane matchup has still been favorable for RCY, but Yopaj and isn't zoned out. He's not having to think about RCY making all of these small plays as much. So RCY with a level 3 Flame Guard is starting to hurt pretty hard. Again, Yopaj has no way of clearing out that Flame Guard. Damage is just going to be consistent here on the mid.
Being chased down again. They're trying to be just so annoying here. Mid lane, they're going out at Yopaj. Looking for that bash of the deep onto RCY. RCY going to go for a quick slide at this to secure a creep. It props to RCY again. He's still finding the CS, even though the matchup has proven to be quite challenging against the Slardar. Yopaj at least gets a bit of respite. Just a bit of relaxation here against the Ember. While RCY does go for the quick reset at the fountain. Not really the amount of dominance you'd like to see if you're Yopaj, that's for sure. It still feels like RCY probably getting away with a little bit too much.
He is, but again, the natural matchup here for the Slardar, it's not the most dominant into the Ember. Out of all his potential melee matchups, RCY goes for that 1-1-3 build. He's got consistent damage. They do have a lot.
Pinaikutan na si Yopaj.
They've committed both boards, kind of watch the area.
Okay, Skem dito.
So we'll be able to contest nicely here.
They're going to try again for RCY, but unable to land the Slithering Crush.
Skem Gerrit. Okay.
He's
Tom.
going to show up with the Brambles out and Skem. He might be dying for this. Tombstone's going to be dropped.
Napakadaya.
RCY's going to go for a runaway. Maybe he can secure the life of Bignum at least. And it seems as though they should be able to get away with it. Bignum trying to make life hard,
Tim's
but eventually
pa
does
nakakuha.
get taken down as Tim's able to secure a kill on the Hoodwink. The big target they wanted though, he does walk away.
RCY unfortunately still not having 6. I'm sure if he had a remnant to throw out, he'd try to make that play onto the triangle. So not going to be able to get too much punishment out. Again, held back from that walk back to base for that refill. Again, Yopaj is still finding some of these wins, right? Maybe not in CS, but certainly in managing the lane. It's been looking a lot better here for him in comparison to game 1. This Primal Beast. You are getting some activity out in the laning phase for OG. This is, again, in stark contrast to game 1 where it just looked really slow. You are getting things done with some early plays. Tsui now at level 6 as well. So we're getting some early spikes here for the Wind Ranger top. Raven's been having a pretty decent time. Ghost has started to get into the groove of things as the Necropose though. Right, he's inching towards level 6. He's got some really big stacks that haven't been scouted out. He's gonna get himself a nice quick ramp up into the Radiance timing. And that's where things can get a little bit scary. He's not rushing for the travels. He does want to heat up a little bit more farm. That press Parsons going for himself instead. Maybe anticipating that RCY should be able to get the job done across the map, and there's always Stampede to kind of get you into the middle of the fight anyhow. So that could be the idea here for GamerLegion overall. Still shoving in top pretty nicely here.
Right for Ghost. Ghost, he still had a pretty good time considering the Viper matchup as well.
Kaso marireaper ka.
He'll even bring Natsumi in. However,
Okay lang, okay lang.
is going to catch Tim's on his way out. It's not really what you like to see here as OG. You're still getting something for nothing, it feels like, for Ghost. But
Rumble
they'll take
Mace.
a big one against the Necrophos now as RCY. Mid lane will be chased down by Yopaj. It seems like he's going to be just fine. Yopaj trying to again be dominant here on this Slaughter. It seems like OG will take the time to try and secure this top tier
Kaso
one.
yung Sinter
Ghost is actually going to move his way back in to defend. But it doesn't really seem like he'll have his way with it. They've got the numbers here on OG to keep this going, surely. But not the creep way.
Forced to back off a little bit. At least, I mean, they've done some good chip damage. Not finding the objective. It's going to stall it out by maybe a minute, 2 minutes at most here, depending on when OG would want to make that move again. But again, a lot more early plays from OG. They're starting to match that tempo we saw from GamerLegion in game 1. For GamerLegion, it's a little bit slower, right? Like, you're still level 4 in Bignum. Speed is the one that's kind of soaked up all the XP. Level 6, we saw from that early Midnight Shadow. Moonlight Shadow, and you are still in a good spot for OG. Again, we were talking about the things that this draft had to do for OG side. They had to get a little bit of a stronger early game. It's not a dominant early game by any means, but it is a lot better than from game 1.
Nice
And
teams.
that does lead to a position where this is a playable game. Raven, he's actually opting for the Dragonlance first over Mage Slayer. So he wants some safe stats. He wants to be able to stand back, maybe go into the Hurricane fight as well. Down bot.
Tom.
Try for a bit of a kill here onto Fade. Fade, he's going to pop the Stampede and try to go for a run, but the chase is on from Natsumi. He'll have a power shot
Nice.
in one, but they won't even need. Another nice pick up here onto Fade. Fade's actually trying to trade with the Warpline Raider. Has a siege shot in one, but
Slardar,
opportunity to
Yopaj,
throw it out.
Aray
However, in the meantime, Yopaj is going to get taken down. So not really the greatest trade for OG.
No. We're still happy enough shutting down Fade. It has been a little bit of a struggle here for our center off. But
Nakakabisit yung willow na to.
We normally
Crap.
talk about it with Murano, but we do have the setup for arrow combos. It's that classic chains into arrow that we've seen. Heck, we've seen OG, or at least this group of players run it before when they were on Room Esports. This was one of their more quirky combos back in the day. Maximizing quite nicely top. Viper Strike here onto Ghost.
Okay.
Get him. Ghost, he's got the Ghost Walk available, or rather Ghost Shroud.
Nice.
Still too much damage though. They are able to find him once again. Natsumi able to secure the kill. They will not be able to finish off the kill onto speed at the very least, but they are making the life of Ghost extremely difficult here with this Viper pickup. So at least for now, the Viper pick is working in some sense. Mind you, you do still find Ghost is top of the net worth board anyway. You know, they're slowing him down, but he's still finding the farm regardless. I'm sure it's somewhat concerning for OG.
It should be. Because, again, the Viper thrives when you have that network deficit on the core you're laning up against. It just hasn't really been a deficit to speak of. They find a tier 1 top, at least, so it's a little bit uncomfy for Ghost to just hang in that area, but he is certainly still very safe in his own top jungle anyhow. Radiant's timing stalled out a little bit, but Sacred Relic is flying out. So just the Talisman left. Still about 1,000 gold to farm. And this is the one thing for GamerLegion. This game, again, is a little bit slower. OG's getting a lot more room to play. Natsumi, he has that early Javelin timing up on our Wind Ranger. Quite a fair bit of damage flying in. You tie that in with a Slardar who can help amp up that damage as
Okay.
well. Corrosive Haze.
Tom.
There's a lot more to
They're
do
going to
here.
find Skem. Skem will
Back
drop a
up.
quick tombstone, but it doesn't really seem like it's going to help his cause too much, as they will just go ahead and chase him down, and Skem, of course.
Nice,
will have to die.
Natsumi.
Here comes Natsumi for a trade. Bignum will pop the Terrorize immediately. Meanwhile, RCY going to remnant towards the north. TPs are incoming to try and help out. RCY still being targeted. Can they kill him? They can.
Aray ko.
Is going to get caught. RCY barely making it out with his life intact, and that is again horrible news for OG. They didn't even find Bignum. Bignum also out of there with the Terrorite.
Managed to bail out nicely, and in the end, they do trade 2-0. A very close call. Found RCY perhaps. That feels a lot better here, but again, GamerLegion just kind of playing it smart. Grouping up his team. That's also a ton of space for Ghost.
Nick.
Last time we checked up on him, he was 1,000 gold away from full Radiance. It's up now. He's got the gold for it. He hit this key timing now in the Necro. They'll try to make a smoke play out here, OG, keeping that pressure off.
Okay.
Gonna find speed. Nice freebie here for OG.
Nice.
Any kill's a good kill.
Yes.
We'll take it. In the meantime, though, that Radiance on the Necrophos available for Ghost, so his farming speed set to escalate, as well as his impact as they do catch Tim's. Tim's gonna end up losing his life on the Hoodwink here to Bignum.
Trade lang, nagtitrade
I
lang.
just don't feel as though it's been dominant enough with this draft. Like, you've got a draft that dominates in lane, and it just hasn't. It's going alright, but it's just too even of a matchup right now. Darcy White will get jumped again mid lane, but there's no real follow up. In fact, Bignum, he's going to show up trying to go onto Yopa.
Kita may ginagawa nung
Darcy
ano,
White will make the call to retreat.
nung Willow. Napakatagal ng stun yan. Oy, nice. Wala atang ano to.
That's a great setup from Tim.
Walang remnant, yes.
They will
Nice.
finally get RCY.
Finally. Ay, makakuha ang shield drone. Okay,
Very
buhay na.
important to find.
Sige,
RCY's
sugod
been
pa.
dancing around them quite some time. And they're getting some value back. They get the power in for Yopaj on top of things. RCY just getting a little bit greedy. Hanging in the area, not respecting that long range hold. We were talking about this in draft. Your options for holding this Ember, your best bet is that Hoodwink. Not even a Slaughter or Blink Crush, as there is that slight cast point on the Crush. It has to be something like that Bushwhack. Tims is putting in the work. Actually find that punishment. GamerLegion again finding themselves in a more even game. You haven't quite crushed the lanes in the way you'd want OG's draft to do so, but they're in a playable game state. Even across the board, there is still some concern though, as Ghost again with the Radiance can start to get pretty scared with his own farming pace. Is going back for the travel, so he's not going for the concentrated grabs he was queuing up a while ago. But will want to start to show up with his team a little bit more, get some Reaper sights going. Just a little bit of smoke out as well from GamerLegion, but not really able to connect it too much. It's also concerning how much space Fade has gotten. He's not going for the Heart Rush. He is going for that Lotus Orb instead, but
Okay, nice. Palambutan mo.
He's gonna pop
Walang
the sand. He's
lockdown.
actually somehow survived the initiation.
Ember.
Now OG need a way out. RCY, he's jumped in a little bit preemptively, but it won't matter. Natsumi's gonna die immediately to the Reaper's side. They'll deal with the Tombstone as well. And now
Wala na
he
to,
wants
guys.
to go. There's nothing else to be afraid of, apart from maybe Raven's Viper. And so they do decide to retreat anyway. But you got Natsumi, you got an extra in the Undying. No need to force anything more. They're okay with this.
they're happy enough. And you again kill that big scaling here you're kind of concerned about from the side of OG. Natsumi's gotten himself a pretty decent time in the lane. Fade, the fact that this guy just gets to run away, and again it's down to that lack of control. Like you get, if you get the crush and Bushwhack and you don't layer them properly, it's not the longest set of stuns. There's a lot of ways for Fade to just run off, and this build into the Lotus is certainly showing why it's valuable. The EHP increase with armor is huge here when you're up against the Slardar. So bypassing that normal Heart Rush.
Ay
does
na
make a
naman,
lot of sense
nagtipi
here.
na Ember.
Still
Takbo na
something
kayo.
to
They're trying for the tier 1 bottom tower, OG.
Okay.
Oh, they actually do find a Bushwhack. Follow-up stun is there onto RCY. RCY trying for the run away.
Walang follow-up kay RCY.
Yopash, he's gonna drop. Raven now needs to look to retreat a little bit as Ghost maybe going a bit too far, but they'll land a very nice two-man terrorize now going for the Tombstone. Meanwhile, Raven, he gets stunned up, and now the Bramble Maze from Bignum locking down a couple more. That'll be Raven gone. Skem cannot survive through this either.
Natsumi na
They're just
si
getting picked off
Natsumi.
one by one as Natsumi also caught out. The arrow from Speed. The chase will be on. See you later, Natsumi.
Aray ko.
Goodness.
4 for the price of nothing.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Ouch.
That is very concerning now for OG. as you have a very clear lead now for
Ang pangit
GamerLegion.
kasi
4K
na-pick
up.
nila, pre.
Ghost is 3K
Ota.
up, 2.5K
Kahit
up.
Arcon, alam yan eh.
After a little bit slower
Grabe
lane, right?
naman.
Like he's under a little bit more pressure. He's died a few more times here. He is still set to crush with his timing on neck force. Travels up into the Manta style next.
Parang wala
He
silang
almost got the
drafter
gold, so
na
we're talking
matino,
about
pre.
on Fade, and then into the hard timing. That's when things start to get really scary on the Centaur. RCY, they're just looking for armor. They understand. You're so tied in.
Nanalo nga
To
yung
actually get your damage out from
hindi pa nga nanalo yung laning phase eh, tumabla lang eh. O ngayon yung team fight, walang team fight, pre.
Survive that initial jump. Now the Moonlight Raven.
Shit.
This is the issue we always have with this hero. Like
Yun na nga,
you didn't even
reaper
dominate
ka
the
lang
lane.
kahit
That's kind of
Viper
the
ka.
thing, right? Like Ghost was still top of the net worth by the time laning stage
Wala
was
na.
over. You got a couple kills, but what did it matter? And now that you've got this Viper hero that doesn't really do anything going into the mid game.
Now it doesn't. We've seen it a few times from OG before, and in some elimination matches, like we said earlier. Mid just being sieged away by Fade and his beautiful Dark Troll Summoner army, and the Skellies. No heroes around even for that, just a free tower. I mean, they're forced to play around the map on the side of OG. They can't even respond to like the creeps shoving in for free. Just concerning.
Paano kayo
wanted to say as
lalaban?
well, there's maybe a little bit of dead time. We saw the NA Dota sticker from RCY.
Galing talaga nung Willow.
A little bit hard. Bignum, he's been very on point with these. Even the block from Fade. Get down, Mr. President. And RCY, he's gonna have his Remnant back up to play with. In fact, they might turn. GamerLegion, they are slowly resetting, and Ghost is moving his way in. But it seems the OG make the decision to retreat, and I think that's probably the right decision to make. The speed, he's hunting around, seeing if he can find a target for an arrow.
Nako,
They're gonna
Datsubi.
find Natsumi, not Natsumi. Chains are gonna land as well. They do at least get a bushwhack to try and help out Natsumi, but it's just
Kita
not
niyo yung
gonna make
combo
a
nung
difference.
Willow saka Centaur.
Just a
Puta, 100%
disaster of a game.
ata sa
Bignum's tipping
TI yan
Natsumi
eh.
now.
Ayaw nilang bigyan.
Bignum.
Ayaw nilang i-pick na maayos eh. Hindi nila binaban, hindi naman nila ipipick. Super disappointed tong mga nanonood sa kanila ngayon.
Yopaj, at least there's no vision watching him. Skem's gone to blue. It's getting ugly, John. It's getting real ugly.
It is. Okay, we've got some dead time. I want to say, we saw the NA Dota sticker from RCY. I said, as you know, RCY is going on Tim's.
Yes.
Fine.
No need to cast this part, Jonathan. We know he's dead. Go on.
So-
What's the story?
So, I was saying this is like 7 C players, right? But it's
Yeah.
also 7 NA players. If you think about Scam and Yopaj's time in Shopify, right?
True.
So we have 7 C players, 7 NA players. Truly the best of both worlds here, and somehow Southeast Asia is deader than a dead region. I mean, this is great for NA, don't get me wrong. That's just the memes, right? Like, this is outstanding. And we talked about it with GamerLegion. They've looked amazing. Despite the scoreline not reflecting that in the tournament results so far, they have looked pretty damn good in these games, and it's showing up here up against a very experienced OG stack as well, RCY. Come on, man.
He's alright. RCY, I mean, that one death he had, it's because he wanted the power rune and got unlucky for it. You know? And quite frankly, while we're on the topic of GamerLegion, I still think 2 of the series that they lost, they shouldn't have lost. You know? They were basically guaranteed wins almost. Just unfortunate circumstance. But they shouldn't be in this series.
No.
It doesn't feel like they should be playing against OG right now.
No.
RCY?
Playing against OG.
It's just not GamerLegion.
I can agree
I
with
don't
that.
care who it is.
Well, let's see. Okay, let's go back to this. What can OG do? We've got a BKB lined up here for Yopaj. We've got a BKB for Natsumi as well. Hurricane, 2
Wala
Hurricane
eh.
fights for Raven.
Birna Bramble tsaka Course Crown lang nung Willow eh.
Smoke out.
Tingnan nyo, ah.
Shadow on the side of GamerLegion, though.
Tingnan nyo yung next fight ah. Yung ginagawa ng Willow.
B?
Okay, walay Willow. Wala pa. Pwede pa.
Eto
Eto na yung Willow. Tingnan mo. Dalaway na lockdown. May Curse Crown pa.
Skem's
May cash
trying
count pa.
to chase down this Necrophos, but he'll give up in the end as they'll turn their attention onto Bignum. Bignum will die. But it's at the cost of Yopaj.
Tamo. Pero
The more
patay si
concerning
Yopaj.
thing is that Ghost, he just makes it out.
He does. Just barely enough stats there with a Manta style up. I will say though, look at the actual gold gain. You've got 547 plus 348 for killing Bignum. You only got 295 plus 264 for killing Yopaj. So a very big win for OG. You don't mind trading that with how far behind you are, although
You might
you
mind
mind
this,
this.
though, John. Yeah.
You took the words out of my mouth, Mike.
I did, didn't I, John? I did. Well, there you have it. GamerLegion, the game is a banger, is the call. You know, I might disagree with that voice line a little bit this game, boys. You know, wouldn't go as far as saying it's a banger. You know?
It's a banger for them, you know, they're winning. They don't care. If you win a game, it's a banger, Mikey.
I suppose.
We should start calling them Burger Legion as well, by the way. That is the sticker.
I mean, I'm genuinely surprised they haven't got a fast food sponsor. Maybe they do and we don't know, but I haven't seen it. Maybe Nev can sort one out.
Yeah, exactly. If they had someone called Nef Sensei, this man can hook you up with burgers. He knows his burgers, man. He's got the connections. It's actually terrifying that he does, considering him.
Does he actually?
If there's a will, there's a way, and Nef is one of those maniacs who will make it work. You know, I firmly believe in that.
Okay, pipe and then what?
Would Jola be sponsored? I mean, they've got a Filipino.
Oh, you know what? We should get that done. You know, that's a good idea. Signing bonus, please, as they are on the hunt. Not gonna catch. They could get it done. I mean, RCY would be a good marketing point, you know, Filipino-American in the big leagues.
True.
Jollibee's expanding in North America. Something to think about there, corporate. If anyone's watching from corporate somehow.
Scam. Don't watch this corporate. Scam is also Filipino.
Ba't naglalakad na lang yan dyan mag-isa? Ano ginagawa nyo, guys?
He's gonna try and do something here against Bignum, but of course he knows he's dead. Ghost will say thank you very much for my free stack.
Yopaj, anong ginagawa mo dyan, Yopaj? Oh, nice!
Yopaj. He's gonna take RCY down at least. They do find a big one. That is worth it. That is worth the life of Yopaj, of course. Any kill right now is probably worth it. They'll take.
Yeah, you're happy enough, and you end up trading 2 for 1. But
Ang
that is
kalat
still
na nung laro nila, pre.
697 gold gained compared to the
Grabe
game.
rin kasi yung mentality mo dyan pag andyan ka sa team.
That's just the state of the game. You can trade 2 for 1, and you're still gonna be happy about it on OG. Again, if they just keep finding these
Psychologist
kind of
ata
trades, they
need
keep
nila
finding
dyan.
some kills like this. Natsumi is starting to get big.
Saka
AKB
bagong
one
coach
part away,
siguro.
Full Mjolnir up and running. A lot of damage here on the Wind Ranger. Raven, he did go back for the Mage Slayer, and he does have that full Hurricane Pike up. Still queuing another one up, just to make sure it exists. But we'll see eventually what Raven will want. But the Mage Slayer timing is quite good as well, right? It is mainly magical damage here on the side of GamerLegion. So if you can get this debuff going from Raven, this Viper can be a little bit hard to manage up front. Your physical output just doesn't quite compare for the side of GamerLegion with a strap. There just isn't much physical to speak of.
Pero ang problema, ang dali mong
Get
i-burst.
some presence out here as well.
Kung ako
The
yan,
scaling
ano
of
na lang
OG,
ako dyan.
It kind of is
Lincoln,
at minimum
Aghanims,
on par with what
Bloodstone.
GamerLegion has. It's not like this draft in GamerLegion is
Puro
like an
defensive
ultra late
na.
game menace. Maybe RCY can be, you know, with a typical Ags refresh on Ember, sure. But in terms of like damage output, it certainly does stop as speed. It's a little bit crazy.
I mean, you say that, John, but speed.
Tingnan mo
He's a
yung
rogue
ano?
kind of guy.
Tingnan mo yung Willow. Ginagawa ng Willow.
Run away from Natsumi.
Aray
It's
ko.
not gonna pan out. RCY.
Ayan, damay ka pa
is just
scam.
here to
Call mo na
clean
yan.
up.
GG nyo na, parang
Filipino
tapos na.
janitor is what I call him,
GG
John.
na.
Look at that. Clean up in the bot lane.
Sniped out the courier. 2 gems on RCY now. Scam just bought that out. Felt like a few moments ago.
What do you think, John?
So
The Filipino janitor.
yeah.
You think he'd appreciate that nickname?
I can see RCY liking it. You know, he's a good kid. Like, thank you for that one. You know?
He wouldn't tell me if he didn't like it. He's a shy guy.
Yeah, exactly.
He
He's a
wouldn't
very
say.
nice kid. You know? And like, thanks. You're behind your back, you're like, that's kind of awkward. Why am I a janitor? You know? He's too nice, RCY. Just too nice. What's
So
not
sweet.
nice is oh, he is. He's a plus.
See, remember that first time we talked to them and they were trying to practice and we just wouldn't leave them
Yeah.
alone?
Yeah.
You know, Bignum and Fade were just staring at us like they wanted to kill us the whole time. It's
Natsumi. Oh,
Oh, Bignum's just having his
Ayan
moment
yun na.
now. Bignum's just
Call yun na
destroying
yun.
him. There
Punta na
goes
kayo sa
Skim as
airport.
well.
wala guys.
How do you say depression?
Drop pa lang eh, talo na kaagad eh.
How do you say depression? See, we're so happy that I can't even think the word sadness. Because normally you mix that with Taglish at that point. And it's like, sobrang sad ako. You know, like, that's how some people speak. You know? It's like, I'm very sad. You know, so... This is... I guess there's just no words for OG. You know, I mean, this is...
Pwede na sa GG yan.
hard to see a comeback coming in, let's say, with a scrap. You're
Yeah.
24K behind at
hold on,
28 minutes in.
We can
Yeah.
look at Dota Plus.
Alright, what is it? 1%, Mike. It's not 100, right? 1%.
Not yet. Fade. He's gonna walk away. It might be 100 very soon. John Fade's taking no kills here as you see Ghost jumping in. Go partial TP away. Raven cannot do the same by the looks of it. Raven will have to suffer for his team's attempt at Fade. And as well as that, you'll lose Tim's.
Wala na to
Raven
guys.
still being toyed with here by
Call
the
nyo na
boys
yan.
on GamerLegion.
Second team
There's still a 1% chance.
to go to
We're-
airport guys.
Nothing's changed.
No. Not 1%. It's 100 times better than 0, Mike. Infinitely better than 0. So, you know, the hope is alive for OG.
Actually, anything times 0 is still 0, John. I'll be there.
Well,
I'd hate to.
you don't need to be such a downer, Mike. It's already very sad.
Talaga.
Not for GamerLegion though. GamerLegion's
Not
having a
for-
great. It's a banger.
Yeah. Again, like, I would disagree with Banger, but this is a win. So far, looking like it's GamerLegion's game to throw at this point, if there's any way to lose this one. Mid-set, Iraq's set to fall, and
In fairness, they have thrown 2 other series, so maybe.
that is
May
true.
gusto kasi
That
silang
is-
patunayan eh, na walang meta-meta sa kanila. Parang ganun ba?
It can happen.
Oh, Natsumi
Lahat
being
na
soloed
pwedeng
by
ma-counter.
a-
Kita mo?
right now, John.
Sosolohin siya ng
Sign
support
at all.
ng Willow.
Have to BKB TPOAG. That is a horrifying sign, if I've ever seen it. Meanwhile, Skem's gonna go down. You know, you've got to try. It's TI. They're gonna give it a crack one last time. Yopar, she's gonna jump in for a 2-man stun, but there's just no follow-up to it. And he
Sobrang
knows it.
sakit pre.
Jump in from Fade. A nice shackle.
Wala
That's
silang
how it
magawa
is.
tol.
It's just a nice shackle.
Flex pa ng Windrunner.
Now Loader
Pusang
Plus
ka na.
is sitting at 100%.
Well, never goes back down from there.
Well, it shouldn't. Here we go. Tim's gonna be okay. Tombstone's gonna be dropped. Hold on a minute. Maybe they can do
Bakit
something.
umaalis
Jump.
siya sa
Tim's
tombstone?
will die. Reaper Scythe is out. Raven hitting away at Ghost, but Ghost is taking literally no damage.
What? Wait, Mikey, what about the tombstone made you think of the turn around there? I'm just so curious.
John,
You sounded so enthused. So, oh, it could happen. It's like, okay, let's calm down, Mikey.
Look, John, I mean,
Don't give OG
they
fans
haven't-
too much hope.
they haven't called GG, John. I mean, what do you want me to do?
That's true.
You want me to just
There you go.
depressedly say, oh, they don't have a chance the whole time? There's your GG call.
There you
I was saying they don't have a chance since the draft, John. You know?
Pusa, sakit
There's only
guys.
so many times I can say it.
True. So it's a rough one for OG. Pretty heartbreaking for OG. Pretty heartbreaking for Southeast Asia. But North America is
Oh, yeah.
truly back. They live through potential elimination. They make it through the 1-3 scoreline into the survival zone of 2. And in
Talo,
pretty
guys.
decent fashion. Again, all the opponents they have to
Talo.
face against are pretty high-ranked opponents. They take games off for some of them. They should have won 2 series before this as well. That maybe some of that inexperience was kicking in, but up against OG, a very experienced staff.
Lahat ng tournament nila, ganun yung drafting nila, guys. Lagi silang reactive. Wala silang plano. Iniisip nila lahat ng bagay kayang ma-counter, ganun. Hindi nila nire-respect yung mga meta hero. Ganun sila lagi. Pero kung mapapansin nyo kanina yung laban nila sa Hooligan, hindi sila nag-reactive. Ginamit nila yung mga comfort hero nila. Tapos may plano sila. Ayun, nanalo sila. Ayaw nila ng ganun. Gusto nila kina-counter nila yung kalaban kahit na mga meta hero. What a disaster. Sayang yung skills.
Got inspired. I want to say Bignum. Is that right? Bignum's been a real problem this game. I'll tell you what.
Yes, we know.
Bignum, he's been consistent throughout the tournament so far, but this game in particular, he showed off a little bit. He did show off.
And he did. He was on a roll here as the Dark Willow, and we've seen this prioritized by GamerLegion multiple times. It feels like there's a lot of heroes you actually have to watch out for from GamerLegion. The Dark Willow of Bignum, Speed with his Winter Wyvern or Marana, RCY with his Earth Spirit and Centaur, Flex with Fade, Ghost with his Necrophos. Like, all of these things, I think a lot of teams have to kind of pick and choose which one they'll allow true, and this Dark Willow for Bignum just really showed off in this game. He performed spectacularly well in the laning phase. He did an amazing time in the team fights. He was soloing against Natsumi and not dying up against that Pause 1. That was just heartbreaking for OG, but spectacular for GamerLegion and spectacular for Bignum. And again, they get to stay alive forward with their hopes to go to the main stage at Shanghai in the International. And unfortunately for OG, that's the end of their story here. It's been a rough road, it's been a rough year, but you know, these players, they have the potential. We know what they can do. Just have to look for it another time, another team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, another
We
time.
will have to head to a break, so right after the break, we'll be back with our final series of the day. We'll see you all again.
Thank you guys for watching. Live stream tayo ng ano.
Fade from GamerLegion.
Live stream tayo ng laro natin. Magwi-wheel